White House. Costs of not supporting Ukraine too high to pay.
Here's a summary of the article.
Failing to support Ukraine in its fight against Russia would exact a heavy cost on U.S. economic and security interests, U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby told reporters at a press briefing December 8. If you think the cost of supporting Ukraine is high now, think about how high it's going to be in national treasure and in American blood if we have to start acting on our Article 5 commitments, Kirby said. Funding for Ukraine has been stymied by partisan politics in Congress, with Republican legislators refusing to approve continued aid unless Democrats agree to heightened restrictions at the U.S.-Mexico border. Ukraine has lobbied for NATO membership, but the alliance has not issued an invitation or set a timeline for Ukraine's accession. If you care about our national security, you ought to see Mr. Putin for what he is, you ought to see Russia for what it is, and realize that helping Ukraine, and they're not asking for boots on the ground, helping them win this war is very much in our national security interest and in the national security interest of all our allies in Europe. Gaël Vaissière started his work as French ambassador to Ukraine in August 2023, having previously served as the ambassador to Croatia. He succeeded Etienne de Ponsens, who was moved to a posting in Poland after serving as the ambassador in Ukraine for 4 years.
This post received a score of 4,500, with an upvote ratio of 95%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
It saddens me beyond belief that the US has to deal with a contingent of their politicians that need to throw a monkey wrench in everything just to play partisan politics.
Everyone who supports Ukraine needs to vote in 2024. Every US person who can vote in 2024 needs to vote Dem at all costs. The rot in the Republican Party is so bad that unless they're forced to suffer multiple losses in a row, they'll refuse to change and even double down while they keep nominating corrupt, blatant criminals like Trump and his ilk. Sadly, I ain't American, so can do little about it other than strongly advise people never to vote Republican. I've witnessed their stupidity for over 20 years now, and they're only getting more corrupt and broken like many other conservative parties across the world.
This isn't even a costly proposition. We're largely giving Ukraine weaponry and ammunition that was slated for removal and replacement, and we're investing most of this money in building more new stuff for our own military. The majority of that money is going to U.S. arms manufacturers, and generating American jobs. We're supporting a democracy that seeks to deepen its relationship with the US and the EU. Best yet, they're using all that old equipment to preserve their sovereign nation and defeat America's greatest geopolitical rival? Which happens to own Republicans.
Greater than we're largely giving Ukraine weaponry and ammunition that was slated for removal and replacement. We are providing a significant amount of raw financial aid as well to keep their government funded. About 1/3 of all aid this far.
Nice. We should double it.
What is really trying to say is, hey look, we can use our excess stockpiles to kind of neutralize his threat right now, and it's not going to cost as much, but if we wait, we could have a full-scale war on our hands with proxies and lots of logistics and American soldiers and Halliburton and all these companies racing to develop new weapons and new stockpiles, which would be really expensive for the America but really good for our sponsors.
Many Republicans just idolize Russia. Russia is everything they want America to be. A corrupt, homophobic, Christo-fascist petrostate ruled by a dictator.
Yep. And no more real elections to deal with.
Funny how Americans who are against spending on Ukraine ignore the fact we spend billions on military for no reason.
Russian disinformation campaign in the USA has been successful.
The Trump presidency is still paying dividends for them. Before that, it would have been unthinkable for the Republican Party to be weak on opposing Russian imperialism.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.